Hey guys, don't forget, subscribe, like the channel, hit the bell icon, get the highlights all the time, quickest. You know what to do. Hit that button. It says subscribe. Peace! Guys, gals, everything in between. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be around the world, whatever time it is. I hope you guys are all having a good day. We are up to the date where they said they're going to release very, very shortly the autopsy results of the two BC, murder suspects. They haven't even confirmed that it's them yet. It's getting pretty confusing because you would think by now they would have at least identified the bodies. It's very strange how it's taking so long. In the meantime, we're going to read reports, comments, opinions of different people over on Web Sleuths as well as Twitter. We'll read some people's comments, and I want to hear from you guys as well. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this whole case. Anytime from the beginning right up until today, or even after the autopsy report, which hopefully will come today. If it does, I'm going to attach it to the end of this video. As soon as the autopsy report does come out, I will indeed be giving it to you guys as well. For now, all I ask is that you guys subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, that way you will be notified of any time I do post a new video, and I would appreciate you guys coming on board. Give me suggestions, give me your comments and opinions about what you think of my channel, what do you think about my videos. I try to do them all uncut, unedited, the way it should be, I feel anyways. Let's see what people have to say about the two BC suspects so far up until this very moment, where again we are just awaiting the autopsy reports, and I will be providing you that video once it's been released. So, one of the comments was, this is off websleuth.com by the way, what are the bugs in BC like? Depends where you live. In northern BC, Yukon, there are a lot of mosquitoes, black flies, etc. I don't think quite like the muskeg area of northern Manitoba, but still bad. Another one replying to that same question. Nothing compared to the hell that is bugs in the Canadian North. That includes northern BC, of course. Another one says, depends where you live. In northern BC, there are a lot of mosquitoes, black flies, etc. This is a reply. First of all, here's the comment. I have little doubt that Kennedy Deese, China's sister, was being hounded by media for response to snippets of the father of Schmegelsky's 60 Minutes Australian interview circulating when she made her public Facebook post early Saturday morning. I'm not even sure she saw his interview, as her reference appeared to be his book, Red Flagged. I'm sorry every one of the families are not able to grieve in peace. I don't know how they can talk to anyone at this time. Wishing them peace and healing. Reply. I agree. When I scrolled down her page after reading her statement, she was pretty angry at the NC, North Carolina, Charlotte Post, news reporters hovering around her sister's funeral. Well, another question about what are the bugs in BC like? The response, depends where you live. In northern BC, there are a lot of mosquitoes, black flies, etc. Comment, reply to the Kennedy Deese, China sister's comment. That was the same one. What good is money? Asked somebody. Your question was in response to money available through victim services. Our municipality has its own victim services fund and volunteer group. There's not a lot of money there, but they will assist you so you don't starve or freeze outside in the dark. Tourists can access it. Actually, it's mostly used for tourists who get into vehicle accidents since crime is pretty rare in these parts. I think it's a great thing to help with immediate needs. Another one of China Deese's comments. As I said earlier, China's family has every right to respond as they see fit to whatever they see fit to respond to. Every emotion is understandable. This horrible loss and the ongoing circumstances were and are forced on them. Hopefully sharing their experience of the things that are falling before them will be helpful not only to them, but to others who are suffering and seeking a way through. If her statement was made in some other time and some other place in a context other than that terrible loss of a loved one, though, I would find it lacked insight and knowledge. I'd certainly be rolling my eyes by the time I got to courage. In my experience, people greatly overestimate their own agency in the way their lives unfold, as if they independently conjure up all the positive characteristics and fortunate circumstances through the sheer force of their own choices and will. They credit themselves for all kinds of things that have nothing to do with anything they actually did. We are overwhelmingly a product of the genetic hand we are dealt at birth, an environment we can't yet dictate for many years of our lives, and experiences that we do not choose. In short, if Kennedy Dees had been born with the dad's precise genetic makeup and had his precise experiences, she'd be him. She's not better than him, or more courageous, or more resourceful because she's done something magnificent. She's just different from him, and until recent weeks, maybe a lot luckier. Reply. I didn't get the impression China Dees' sister thought she was better than him at all. I thought her writing was intended to be inspirational and purposeful, intentionally directed toward A.S., who again is Bryer's dad. I hope he seeks the help he requires and is able to move forward in a positive way. Watching CBC News Network, saying they are still waiting news from BC RCMP of a possible press conference, perhaps today, given that it's already 12:30 here in BC, which was about an hour ago, and they'd need to give journalists some lead time for a press conference. Would not be surprised if we don't hear anything today. I hope we do, but it doesn't look like it's here in the Eastern time zone in Ontario. It's almost 5. It's 4:35. Let's see. Has any reporter in the entire country managed to get a hold of the BC RCMP for any information at all about when they're going to update the public on the autopsies of the bodies believed to be KM and BS? I'm thinking, when and if police have a media conference outlining evidence that WS is going to be using 110% of all server capacity, today's glitches might feel like a mere flat speed bump at that time, lol. Let's see here. I know that some people are still trying to figure this out, even though the COD has not been disclosed, I guess the cause of death. But creative scenarios that like this really should not be put into print. I think the family have suffered far too much for us to give them more cause for sorrow. Reply. And yet so many are quick to write that the young men are guilty of 3 murders in the absence of any published evidence. People are quick to write that they believe that these 2 are guilty of all 3 murderers, which is by no means a stretch. RCMP believes that to be the case. We all want to know what the evidence is, though. People replying to the not feeling confident about the update. Way too much secrecy going on here. Like the saying goes, if it smells like doo-doo, it is doo-doo. Alright, so must be same coroner medical examiner who did Epstein. Here's a presumption. It is only our presumption, isn't it, that they are the ones who burned their vehicle. It is not beyond the realm of possibility that another person or persons would have compelling reason to burn a stolen vehicle, especially one featured almost daily in the national and international news. My opinion only, I think that they were declared to be suspects on Tuesday, July 23rd, and the vehicle was torched the following day, Wednesday, July 24. Reply. Actually, the burnt RAV4 was found July 22nd, and they were named the suspects July 23rd. When the RAV was torched, they were only considered missing. The one about the news conference, if it's coming up anytime soon, in reply, the last one was announced with very little warning, as I recall. Wasn't it announced only an hour or so before the PC happened? Might be the same here. Press conference is what PC stands for, by the way. Dr. Baden was there for the Epstein one, and he's arguably the best in the business. This isn't about who did the autopsy in this case. It's about RCMP disseminating the results to the public. Still waiting. Any hints on what the time the press conference is? Somebody replied, or what month? That is kind of funny. Let's go to the next page here. I should start from 49 as there's still 2 more pages to go. And I'm really still waiting for this press conference to happen. I'm wondering if it's even going to happen today. Okay, so let's read this one who's replying to this comment here. MSM has overwritten most of their earliest reports, but it seems that July 22nd was the date the BC RCMP first entertained the vague possibility that the missing teens might also be connected to both murders. It would be interesting to know the content of the CBC News broadcast, which the pair might have heard on the RAV4's radio while tuning into the Gillam broadcast area. Reply: I think this link is pointing to them being possible victims, not suspects. Just my opinion. In all fairness, AS, again the dad, has put himself out there. Nobody forced him to yak on national television. You reap what you sow, human nature and all. It's hard to be patient when we are so wrapped up in this case, but please remember that this identification might not be at the head of the queue. Reply: my heart breaks for the family if the 14-year-old who died in BC due to a drug overdose at a skate park and other teens allegedly videoed his death. Apparently no one called 911, and he was found alone, barely alive by his grandfather who went looking for him. Witnesses are currently being sought. If autopsy results aren't released for another day or two, so to the headlines of this other tragic incident, including asking for witnesses, doesn't go overshadowed, that's entirely okay by me. From the original post, I think this link is pointing to them being possible victims, not suspects. Just my opinion. The reply: maybe, but missing and victims are not synonymous. At that point in time, they knew they were driving the deceased man's RAV4 and they weren't victims. They also knew they were missing because they fled. Okay, let's see. This person first wrote, Mr. Waters first wrote, I don't know what country you live in, but I'm curious because in other homicides involving deceased suspects where you live, how is it proven to you a dead person is guilty? What are your expectations? The reply: feels like there's some kind of backhanded slight behind your question, but just in case, for some baffling reason, your question is serious. I am an 8th generation Canadian on both sides of my family and very proud of it. In Canada, proof beyond a reasonable doubt is a standard normally accepted as proof, based on the preponderance of supporting evidence of guilt, as presented in a public trial of living persons. Accused persons are considered innocent until proven guilty. Obviously, due to their untimely deaths, BS and CM are innocent now and will continue to be so because they can never face a jury of their peers. However, law enforcement continues to collect evidence about the known deaths in order to confirm, principally, that their handling of the case was fully justified, including the laying of charges, the cross-country manhunt, the calling in of the military, and most importantly, to assure themselves and the general public that there is not still some other person or persons out there stalking the highways who got away with murder. My opinion only, in my opinion. Okay, this is Mr. Waters again saying about the maybe but missing and victims are not synonymous. Reply: I have read the whole article posted with your original link and it clearly says they are missing. Mr. Dick had not yet been identified at the time of this article, so it would be impossible for RCMP to know what vehicle they were driving, because the RCMP would not yet know what type of vehicle the unidentified deceased male owned. Just my opinion. The results have been... I'm just interrupting these posts to say that the RCMP released autopsy results. It has just been reported. I'm going to go watch this video and then quickly post it up to you guys, and then we'll continue in a bit. But right now, apparently the RCMP has released the autopsy results. I will post it as soon as they announce it and have the video of it. Guys, gals, everything in between. I am looking forward to the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I am going to post the video of the autopsy results as soon as it's released. It is apparently being done right now. We will be back soon. Again, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all you guys being here. Leave comments in the description below, in the comments below, stating what you guys think of this case, what you guys think of my videos. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back in a bit. As usual, peace. Guys, gals, everything in between. Hello once again. I just came back from watching the news report. As you see on the screen there, confirmed Monday by BC RCMP. The two deceased found were Kam McLeod and Bryer Schmegelsky, who died by suicide by gunfire. Date unknown. So, after all that wait, they're saying that they killed themselves. I'm kind of... I don't think so. I don't think... It seems a little too easy for that to be the result. Canadian police have confirmed the two bodies found in northern Manitoba last week are those of the teenager suspected of having killed a Sydney man and his American girlfriend. Kam McLeod and Bryer Schmegelsky apparently killed themselves. There was no RCMP press conference about it. It was just a news report that just broke on the CBC, which is the news channel. That's what they're saying. They're saying that they killed themselves. So, who knows? That was the latest. I'm kind of very disappointed at this. Not surprised, but disappointed at this report. For some reason, I don't know. Something's just not sitting right with me. What say you guys? Do you believe that this is really what happened, or what? Again, I'm not saying it's not right or it's a cover up or anything to do like that, but I don't know, something just not sitting well with me right now. Yeah. Again, what say you guys? I don't think this is the case, but it's an easy way for the door to be shut. You know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. Again, guys, what say you? Let me know in the comments below. Let's quickly read a comment or two here. See what other people have to say. I don't think there's going to be much people disagreeing with this, but again, that's just my opinion. Sure seems weird that both of them committed suicide. You would think if either one of them was truly evil, they would have let the other commit suicide and pinned the whole thing on the dead one. I think they simply need to further investigate the circumstances. All indications are that these two died from suicide, though. Perhaps the autopsy report isn't final, or the RCMP just decided to characterize it this way. Well, some people are kind of seeing it my way. Knowing now that they had guns makes me feel very grateful that they did not continue a spree as they fled, that we know of, and that searchers did not find themselves in a shootout while looking for them. I figured they had a gun. I was thinking a .22 based on the description the road worker gave of the injury he observed, small hole in abdomen area. But two guns? That surprises me. I didn't expect that. They each had a gun. Wow. I never totally bought into the whole idea that these two were just a couple of kids on a road trip making bad decisions, but having two guns makes this whole thing seem even more premeditated than it did before. You take two guns with you on a road trip, a gun each? Not good. See if there's any more. Just refresh the page, and of course there's going to be a lot more comments. Can you even imagine how BS and KM families are feeling right now? The guns are enough proof for me that they did this. It was the only sticking point for me. I hadn't heard of a gun being connected to them. Ugh, so why? What was the point? Did it go as planned? It was pretty anticlimactic. Did they buy stolen guns? Maybe that is why they got the Walmart jobs. Here was an original post saying, "You must have missed it in many earlier information. Bryer and Kam spent a number of months or years camping out in the bush, most likely around their area, which is mountains and forest. This was also confirmed by acquaintances of them as well as family members." Reply, "Wow, I did miss that. I'm going to have to Google. I saw that they had played airsoft games and gone on camping trips. I didn't know they lived in the bush for months or years at a time. Amazing." And it is sort of a trope of cop talk, legalese, to always hedge your bets, even when you're confident. It appears that, it may be that, it would seem that. One of the posts before was, "I'm only surprised that they located and recovered two weapons. Knowing this, they were very lucky there were not more victims. Equal partners. More like fishy. These guys didn't continue to kill people on the alleged murder spree they were on. We also don't know the method of death for Leonard Dick. The original post said, which was Mask Guy. Mask Guy said, these were two friends who committed crimes that required no additional people. What is the basis for believing that there is a third party involved? Only 2 men were seen in the video that has been released. Each encounter involved people allegedly spotting just 2 people. 2 bodies were found. A third person wasn't necessary, and everything we have seen seems to exclude that as being a possibility. The reply, well, there isn't a motive for these 2 to suddenly murder 3 individuals, then drive east to kill themselves. However, if someone murdered the couple, then gained the trust of BS and KM, they could then pin the murder on them. BS and KM were hanging around the area of the Fowler and Deese murder for 4 days. Why didn't they just run then? So that was the last one. For now, guys, the latest, as I said, death by suicide. They both killed each other. They both shot. I don't know. I'm kind of like at a loss for words, which doesn't happen very often for me. But anyways, guys, gals, everything in between. That's the latest update. I will be following other cases as well, posting them on YouTube. Leave your comments down in the basement below. Subscribe, like this channel, like this video. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down if you really want. It's up to you. If you have other suggestions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments below. I would appreciate if you guys do subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you will be notified of any new videos that I do post, which is just about daily. For now, it's done. That's by suicide. Peace.